I think it's very difficult for players, especially if you see a youngster playing before you. But also, if the team is doing well, there's nothing else you can do. You just have to wait for your opportunity. I think I felt that in Montpellier as well. Sorry for going far, but just talking about that feeling of not being a part of the team, and the team is still doing well, and this side you're pushing every day, but you don't get to play as much as you want. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that it's football, and it can happen to me, can happen to anyone. If the team is doing well, it's not every day that I'm gonna play. You get what I'm saying? So it's something that you have to. It's a phase that you have to go through as a footballer.
Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the All Rounders podcast. What a time to be alive, Lord. What a time to be alive, because we've got superstars now. We've got superstars now. Firstly, how are you, actually?
Jeez, bro, it's fine. You must start with that. It's fine.
Sorry.
I mean, you know, this is the time of our life now where there's no more cricket.
Season.
Yeah, all off. You know,
got enough time.
Yeah, but until cause the commentary to Lords. Hashtag cause the commentary to Lords. Proteas later on in the year, but it's good. It's good. Nice to be here.
Okay. So you know what, Nons? Our next guest. You know, when you talk about folk heroes in this country, you know, part of trios that have done stupid things in the league. So our next guest is a product of Westbury Arsenal, the School of Excellence. He's played for clubs like Arsenal, not Arsenal, Ajax Cape Town, Mamelodi Sundowns. Kaizer Chiefs, Montpellier.
Hey.
He was eating croissant in Montpellier. And of course, Kaizer Chiefs. Now he's at the Rockets, TS Galaxy. I'm talking about 1/3 of the infamous CBD. Hey, you remember CBD? Ladies and gentlemen, we've got none other than Keagan Dolly in the house. Keagan Dolly. Are you well?
I'm good, my man. Just busy. Happy to be back playing again. After a few months, obviously, without the club. But yeah, I'm enjoying football again, enjoying life, keeping myself busy with my two naughty but beautiful daughters.
Two now?
Yeah, I got two.
Okay.
Yeah, the one is turning 4 and the other is turning 3. So I'm glad.
200. Kings, I want to start at the beginning. You know, I obviously said in the intro, you're product of Westbury Arsenal. And that's obviously still a club that's rooted in your development. And then obviously moved on to other places. How was it like, firstly, growing up in Westbury, and obviously representing Westbury Arsenal?
Yeah, I think it was tough. What helped me a lot was I had a strict father. Well, he's still strict to this day. So he kept me away from a lot of these distractions. And I think when I was 4, I started playing, street football with him and his friends. And I think that's when he realized actually there's something there. And when I turned 6, which he took me to Westbury Arsenal, and obviously back then not a lot of players from Westbury got the opportunities to make it big in football. There were a few, but the one that stood out was obviously Steven Pienaar. He played for Westbury Arsenal as well before he went to Cape Town. And I think that started motivating me to, try to follow in his footsteps and try to achieve, and also try to inspire the other youngsters from the hood, because once you're in there, there's, like I said, there's a lot of distractions and a lot of things happening. So once I started playing football, my dad kept me on that path. So he kept me, at home, going to training. So I think that played a huge role with me succeeding, because I played with a lot of guys at Westbury Arsenal that probably was much better than me, but obviously they didn't have a father figure or someone they looked up to who could help them, So that was me. I think I played until the age of 11 at Westbury Arsenal. And then we heard about the School of Excellence and trials at the school. And that's when I said, okay, let's just go give it a try.
I was going to actually ask about Stephen Pienaar because he's probably one of the OGs of coming from Westbury, playing for Westbury Arsenal, and then going on to play on the international scene. His influence in your career and having seen somebody so close to you tangibly going and making it big in international football, was that like a massive thing for Keagan Dolly growing up?
Yeah, that I think I followed his career until I probably moved to Ajax.
Yeah.
Because it was the same route, you know, because from Westbury Arsenal, he joined the School of Excellence as well. And that was one of the main reasons why I also wanted to go to the school. I think when I went to trial at the school, I think there was something like 300, 400 boys trialing. And I was probably the only one out of that group of trialists. And then obviously they go around the country and, you know, hold trials in different provinces. So luckily I was one of the selected few to make it to the school. And just looking at his, you know, start of his career and where it took him, I always wanted to follow that. And luckily I did. I went to the School of Excellence. After the school, I found myself at Ajax.
Some of the coaches there as well, School of Excellence. I mean, I'm trying to think. Oh, the Khama was it?
No. So I worked at the school was Mandla Masibuku, James Mabena, and Dan Malisela.
Yes, Dan.
So I worked with very good coaches who, you know, produced a lot of players from the school. And I think it started there, you know. I started taking football very serious because, you know, you meet all these talented players from all the walks of life from South Africa. And I just knew that I needed to keep on working hard if I wanted to, you know, change my life and my family's lives. So I just kept on working, and luckily at the school things started going downhill. So I didn't spend the 5 years. So you normally start from grade 8 until you matriculate and then you leave. So Adidas started pulling out the Transnet sponsorships started pulling out, you know. So at that time, the Sundowns Academy was also going through a change, and they restarted the whole academy. That's when Coach Dan's moved to Sundowns. He left the school, and he took most of the players he coached at the school. So I got the opportunity to join the Sundowns Academy.
I mean, I'm often thinking, whenever there's someone from the township, from an area that has made it, it tends to be others that follow that trend. I mean, how important was it for you, especially your career, to have that someone to look up to that has kind of walked that path in the path that you could also follow yourself?
I think it was very important for me because I saw what it did for him, you know, changing his family's lives and, you know, getting out of Westbury, you know, and just inspiring all the youngsters that's following him. So I always said that I also want to make a difference in Westbury. I also want to show them that there is hope and you can succeed, even though we come from a place like Westbury, you know. So he was very important for me growing up, and I think, well, I hope I had the same impact on other kids, you know. There's quite a few players playing in the PSL now from Westbury. Rowan Newman is playing for Amazulu. So we're trying our best to inspire the boys, you know, not to just follow the same fate that everyone goes through when they grow up in Westbury, or these, you know, Kasis. So we want to change that and just give hope, man.
I mean, we've had Lyle on that seat, we've had Dan on that seat, and now obviously you, and there's a common theme here as well. Obviously going through, you know, School of Excellence. And not only School of Excellence, the careers and the longevity of your careers. I mean, how important was that part? And also maybe like, is that maybe a slight concern to a modern, you know, not having maybe the same pathway and what that hard work that was ingrained to you guys back then to still have such long careers and still be as effective right now later on in your careers?
I think with the school, it helps you live football. You know, every day you get in the proper training from a young age, so you get developed properly. You know, it's difficult for you to start playing football at the age of 15, 16 and expect to have a long career. You can see in Europe, I mean, all these players that's been playing. You look at a player like Odegaard, who's still playing and is only 25, 26, and you think he's been playing for 15 years. You get what I'm saying? So with the school, it's something similar. They teach you the basics from a young age, and you can see all the players that come from the school, they're very developed. If you look at this boy really that's playing for Pirates, you can see he's matured when he's playing, you know, compared to all the other youngsters. So the school is still producing these players, and hopefully people can start, you know, going back and, you know, investing in the school, because, I mean, if you look at a lot of the players that come from the school, we do quite well in the PSL. So I think it helps the country as well to produce these type of players that can, you know, help Bafana and the national teams.
I'm laughing now when you're speaking about School of Excellence. We had so many stories about, you know, being naughty at the School of Excellence. Dave was saying the same thing. Lyle was saying the same thing. Do you have any like fond memories of being there?
So at the school, you know, it's about 120 something learners, and it's all boys at between the ages of 12 to 18, let's say, 18, 19 maybe. And you know, those are the years where you start, you start want to explore things and experience things. And it's a boarding school, so you don't really get to see girls, or you don't get to go out and, you know, be a normal teenager. You can't go to parties, you can't, but besenzi plan. So we used to jump the fence, you know, walk around Fontaine, you know, just boys being boys, man. And that's what I remember. And it was fun times. It was very fun, because you meet so many different characters and people from all over South Africa, and I think that also helps us, you know, learning about these different languages, different cultures, and going forward you can survive anyway. You understand? Because you're used to being around people from all over South Africa, and I think that's the reason why most coloureds that come from the School of Excellence can speak, if it's Zulu, Sotho, because you with the boys every day, and you pick up.
I'm just trying to think. Your senior debut, was it for Ajax Cape Town?
Yeah, it was for Ajax.
How was that coming then from the Sundowns Academy and then having to move down to the Cape? And now starting a career that you were working so hard for since joining the School of Excellence, and then moving across the different development structures, and then now making the senior, now realizing almost your dream of actually playing football.
Yeah, I think it started with Sundowns, the academy. We moved to Potchefstroom, and we were under Alsburg Tawana. We played in the Vodacom League, and we managed to qualify for the Nedbank Cup, I think last 32. We played Platinum Stars. They were still Silver Stars back then. I think 2015, 2016. Roundabout. No, I lied.
Lesser.
2011, 2010. And I was 15, you know, and just to be on the bench playing in the Nedbank Cup against a PSL team, you know, that gives you that extra motivation to work even harder. So I got the taste then. And unfortunately, Sundowns back then was Sundowns that had Abo Tekomodise, that had all these big name players. So my family and myself thought to ourselves that there's no way you're going to get the chance. You're going to get the chance. And knowing Ajax back then was all about the youth and giving opportunities to the youngsters, you know. So we went to play a tournament in Cape Town. It's called the Bale with Sundowns. With Sundowns, and that's where Ajax spotted me. Then they invited me for a trial for like a month or so. And that was actually for the Vodacom team. But the coach back then, Martin Stecklenburg, who's from Holland, he said no, he wants me for the first team. So I think for the first few months that I was at Ajax, I trained with the first team, but I used to play with the Vodacom team. And I think Man United came down.
Those pre-season and stuff. Yeah.
So we were about to play United for the pre-season, and I was in the team. I was starting the game,
Against United?
Against Abo. They brought down Paul Scholes, Rio. So they brought quite a few of the big name players, and a few of the youngsters. I know Jesse Lingard also started making his way through to the first team back then. And then I was sitting in the dressing room and thinking, this is my first game against United, Mara, I'm with Matthew Booth, they're sitting next to me, and I can see they're also nervous, So that gave me a sense of calmness because it's not just me. It felt normal that everyone's nervous, And I think when the game started, I had a decent game. I think that paved the way at Ajax for me because I played well. And that's the year I met Khama Billiat as well. And our partnerships, I think it started there at Ajax, And I just understood the way he plays and the way he makes his runs, And we connected since then. And from that day, I didn't look back. I think that really paved the way for me.
I mean, again, it's such a young age. I would love to know the decision when now you have to move to a completely different city, making that move. I mean, you're Joburg, moving to Cape Town, completely different city. Are the parents moving with you?
No.
Cape Town, everything is available.
That's the thing. So when I went on trial at Ajax and they wanted me, Sundowns didn't want to release me. So they offered me a first team contract. And what they offered to what I was going to get at Ajax was different. And you 19 years old, you're thinking, I want to stay at Sundowns, But my family shut me down and they said, no, you're not going there. Even though we're struggling at home, but you're not going after the money. Rather go make a name for yourself in Cape Town, and then if you need to come back to Joburg, they'll buy you or whatever happens. So I was like, no, I was adamant, no. I'm staying in Joburg. I'm staying. You guys are here. Cape Town so far. When am I going to see you guys? My mom and dad said, you're going to Cape Town. And I think that was the best decision I took for my career, because I think the following season at Ajax, I got Young Player of the Season, and that's when I knew it's going to pay off. So it was back and forth with the parents. I said, look, you don't need to work anymore. Nah, man. Look, you're good. You can chill at home. I said, no. But I think they also saw the bigger picture, When you're young, you only want the nice things in life.
What's first, you mean? You're saying at 19, I mean, technically you're an adult. I mean, but the decision making was still very much like from your parents.
Exactly.
And as reluctant as you were, I mean, you still took that and said, no, it's fine. I'll make the move.
Yeah. So with my parents, to this day, I still listen to what they have to say, and I think that also helped a lot because they were very supportive. They still are, If we play in Mpumalanga, they'll drive to Mbombela to come and watch my games still. So that also played an important role with me, the way they were so supportive. Like growing up, we didn't have cars at home, but my dad would take 3-4 taxis to come to Elandsfontein to watch games on weekends. So that really pushed me to try and change the way he travels, the way we live, and that's why I still tell them to this day, the only reason why I still work this hard is to, make their lives better because of all the sacrifices they made for me, So, they still there. I was actually with them on Sunday, so they come visit every now and then, so they still play an important role.
You speak about Khama and meeting him and playing with him at Ajax, and how was it playing with Khama? And we'll speak about CBD and the impact that you guys had at Sundowns a little bit later on. But understanding and clicking with a certain type of player, like-minded player, almost wanting to achieve the same goal, which is to attack and score goals. How was it playing with Khama? What kind of a player is he still in terms of your guys' connection?
Yeah, I think with Khama, it just clicked on the field.
Yeah.
At first, we weren't very, very close friends, but on the field, we understood each other. I don't know what happened, but it just clicked on the field. You know, he makes it so easy, even if it's a bad pass from you. His first touch is amazing. He might look small in structure, but he's very strong. So he doesn't lose the balls easy. So he makes you look good most of the time. That's what I said. I can pass a bad ball and his first touch would be amazing and he scores and it looks like I was part of it. You know, so he made it very easy for me to understand the way he plays. And I mean, at the time when I met him, he was also about 20, 22, 21. So we were both at the stage of our careers where we wanted to work hard to achieve and move to better teams and, you know, bigger clubs. And I think, yeah, we just clicked from Ajax when I got there. And yeah, like they say, the rest is history.
Yeah. And then, what, Sundowns comes back again?
Yeah, so after the season 2013, 2014, that's when I got Young Player of the Season. And they came back. They wanted me back. I spoke to Pitso. I think that's the season Pitso started taking over as head coach. And he called me personally as well. He told me that he wants me at Kloorkop. And also at the time with Ajax, again, things started, you know, going downhill, sponsors leaving, and a lot of stuff started happening. The connection with Ajax Amsterdam also wasn't very great. So I thought I wouldn't get the opportunity to go to Amsterdam. So I said, why not? I played at Sundowns. I know Kloorkop, and there were quite a few guys there that I also knew, you know, from different teams, and also Khama was there. So I said, why not? Let's go give it a try, you know. But a lot of people also said, you won't make it. Sundowns is for big name players. You're still young, and I think my first season, I played all the games. That's when we formed CVD. But they loaned me back to Ajax for the 2014-2015 season because I asked to stay another year to get more game time. So the 2015-2016 season, when we won everything, that was my first season for Sundowns, and I played all the games.
People say, you spoke about Pitso. People speak about Pitso as like this. He's never satisfied kind of a coach. He's always demanding extra from his players. Did you have the same sort of view of an experience of Coach Pitso?
Definitely. He's a winner, and he doesn't sleep. He watches football until. But that's because he wants to win, and he demands it from his players as well. He'll call at night and ask, "Are you at home? Are you watching? Are you watching this game? Are you watching that game?" You know, so you knew that you had to do your part as well. You have to go home and you watch the full game and you have to take notes, and then the next day when we go into training, everyone has to have the notes on what mistakes you did and how we can fix it, and all the good things you did in the game. So he wants all of that. So we really worked hard under him because he was very demanding of everyone. If you're a youngster, if you're a senior player, if you're a big name player, everyone has to do.
Matter.
Doesn't
Whether you are Dennis Onyango,
you are Thompo Kekana. Everyone is doing their work, and you could see the way his team played and the way we played under him, you know, and the cups we won with him, you know. And after that, he always wanted more. He couldn't settle just to be at Sundowns and win the league all the time. He wanted to go to Egypt. When he got to Egypt, he won there as well. And I'm sure if you speak to players from Al Ahly, they'll tell you that even in Egypt, he was the same. And I don't think he'll change ever.
I mean, I would love to know when it comes to decision making, especially, I mean, you kind of reflected on a little bit of what was happening in Ajax. I mean, for you to make the move, I mean, what are you thinking about? Are you thinking, okay, it's Sundowns. Yes, they're big players, but like for me, what's important to make that move to Sundowns? Is it an opportunity? And obviously you mentioned the call that must be important to have it from the coach saying he wants you. What were the key factors for you to say, you know what, that's the right move, or what goes through a player's mind to make the decision?
I think if you feel that they really want you, like the call from the coach, if you can feel that there's a sense of, no, he really wants you in his team and he understands the type of player you are and he'll give you your space to be that player, but obviously he'll also help you and the club will help you. Because I mean, if you play for the big three, your games come on TV all the time, you know, and a lot of people watch you, the opportunities to go to the national teams as well, and to play in these major tournaments like the CAF Champions League, opportunities to win the leagues, and these are the tournaments where people from Europe see you, you know. So that was also one of the main reasons why I wanted to go to a team like Sundowns, because they were also struggling. They weren't really winning a lot of cups back then, but with what Coach Pitso had in mind, you know, he wanted players that was hungry, that was ambitious. So I saw the project, and it for me it spoke to me, and it worked out.
And I mean, in terms of, I mean, we always see it must be nice. I mean, you said you played all the games in the first season, but there's the other side in Sundowns where you're part of such a big squad and you're not playing week in, week out. How does it feel? And where you're pushing to be in the squad and maybe you're not getting the luck of being in the starting 11 or being on the bench. And like you said, you had a season where you asked to be on loan.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people don't see that side of football. Because I mean, only 11 players can play at the time. Now 5 subs. Back in the day, it was only 3 subs. So I think it's very difficult for players, especially if you see a youngster playing before you. But also, if the team is doing well, there's nothing else you can do. You just have to wait for your opportunity. I think I felt that in Montpellier as well. Sorry for going far, but just talking about that feeling of not being a part of the team, and the team is still doing well, and this side you're pushing every day, but you don't get to play as much as you want. But at the end of the day, you need to understand that it's football, and it can happen to me, can happen to anyone. If the team is doing well, it's not every day that I'm gonna play. You get what I'm saying? So it's something that you have to. It's a phase that you have to go through as a footballer. If it's early in your career or if it's later in your career, sometimes you get coaches that don't understand you, or that maybe feel like different player exactly of this player would give him what he wants, and at times you tend to blame yourself, or you tend to say, "Hi, oh coach, I can't." But at the end of the day, the coach also has to make a decision. At the end of the day, if the team is not doing well, the coach gets fired. You as a player, you stay. So it's always just the understanding of knowing when it's your time, and you need to grab that opportunity. But sometimes you go through that and you just have to be strong mentally, you know, because you never know. They might change the coach and you need to play, and if you're not ready, then you lost.
And how's the environment amongst the players then? Because I mean, if you're such a big pool of players, I mean, in a elite environment, you want competition for places, but was it a supportive? If now there's 2 in a position where the other guy's not playing, is that a supportive environment where, even though we are competing, but we're still supporting each other and we're helping each other improve and things like that?
Yeah, I think it also depends on where the team is and how good the team is doing. I think at Sundowns we were very supportive because there was so many games that we needed a big squad. Because on this side is CAF Champions League. On a Wednesday you need to come back and you need to play a league game. And then the weekend you need to travel again to Algeria or for another CAF game. So everyone knew that we needed each other and we needed the whole squad to be ready to play. And I think that helped also with the amount of games there is in a season for Sundowns, because I think every week you play probably 2 games. So you need everyone. So that's the reason why everyone was so supportive of each other. And the team was winning, so everyone's getting bonus. So everyone's happy. You get what I'm saying? You want the team to do well so that the whole team can get the bonus. But then you go to other clubs where they're not a part of all these competitions, so there's not enough games. You get what I'm saying? So
the competition is
so you play one game every week. You have training from Monday till Friday. You go to camp, so there's always competition. This one feels he deserves to play. This one feels he deserves to play. So yeah, it's just the environment you in.
Which one do you enjoy more, a little bit more? You know, there's, like you said, there are times where you're playing for a team where you're training more, play less. Or where there's game.
I prefer playing games because that's what you live for. You want to play games. Training is fun and all of that, but I mean sometimes it's just not the same like a game, and you know, on game days everyone's watching and everyone.
Can do your thing.
You take everything that you've been doing at training to the game, so I prefer playing games all the time.
You're part of the Sundowns squad that won the Champions League, like 2016, if I'm not mistaken. How was that feeling, winning a continental tournament? It's a major one in South African history. I think Pirates
95, yeah.
So how was that? I mean, because when I look at it from a fan point of view, that's massive. Like I watched the game. You win, even though I might have my own biases towards a certain other club. But you put on the South African flag that day and watch Sundowns as a South African, and you want them to win. As a player, how does that feel to achieve something so monumental?
Yeah, I still think about it to this day, you know. Sometimes when you're in the moment, you don't really get to appreciate what you've done for the club and for the country as a whole. I think just our journey leading to the final, we got kicked out and then we were about to go on holiday. I think we were on a trophy parade for the Ligue and the Telkom. And Coach Pitso said, we're cutting holidays short. We're back into the Champions League. And you know, at the time you feel like, we now just finished the league, so you have to again switch on again. But again, it goes back to the way Coach Pitso was. He's a serial winner. And he just brought us back into work mode again, the zone. And we saw it as an opportunity for us again. And we were also thinking if we win the Champions League, we get to go to the Club World Cup. You know, so
bonus as well.
Bonuses as well on this side. You know, you just got league bonuses, and now you're thinking if you win the Champions League, it's double. So you're thinking, okay, there's a lot of perks of being back into the Champions League. And I think when we played the final, the first leg in Pretoria, you know, going up 3-0, we knew that it was done. All that we needed to do was, you know, go there and defend for our lives, and we knew we were going to win it. But just thinking about it now, you know, you get to realize what big. I don't know if you remember Percy Tau after the game. He couldn't believe it because he was also on loan, I think, to Black Aces, and in the middle of the season they brought him back because I think Castro got injured. So he was playing throughout, you know, from the quarterfinals until the finals. And I think that's when Percy also saw that in football you can achieve a lot more. And that was his start to stardom.
CBD now.
Castro,
for those who don't know what CBD is, Castro, Billiat, Dolly. Probably the one trio that devastated defenses in the league for a considerable amount of time. Playing with those guys, and you mentioned Khama and how you guys clicked since Ajax. Castro adding him into the mix, great striker.
Very good.
Very, very adept on the ground, whether he's hitting the ball or he's scoring with his feet. That trio, how did it become so infamous the way that it was?
You know, it wasn't even planned.
Really?
Nothing. The only time we saw that the CBD thing is like is a thing now. It's when everyone was starting to talk about it on the news, interviews about watch out for the CBD and CBD this, the supporters printing everywhere you went was CBD, But even then we didn't really take it serious because we always believed like if it's a team effort. If we didn't have Abo Shompo Kekana in midfield, Temba Zwane, we wouldn't have worked out, We had defenders like Thabo Ntete, Wayne Arendse, we had Dennis Onyango, I think that one, I think goalkeeper of the year, Africa's something. He won.
Shoot.
No, he left. He left the season before. So we had all these experienced players, and that gave us the freedom to go out each and every game and just play our football. But we all came with different elements of the game. I could cross a ball. I was very young. I had energy for days. Khama on the side, he's good with 1-2s. We knew if we kick long to Castro, he'll hold the ball up for us. So we all came with different things. But at the end of the day, because we were scoring most of the goals, it was like the CBD is the main people. But we had Anthony Lafaux would come on as a super sub and he'll save most of the games for us,
Last minute winners
all the time. He comes on 15 minutes, 2 goals, and we win the game. But people will still say it's a CBD. But I think playing with that too, again, it was just easy because you understand the type of players they are. And at the end of the day, they were good human beings as well, So off the field, we could chill with each other and we'll still be cool, So it was more of a brotherhood and then just teammates of we train and then we go home. We used to chill a lot off the field as well.
You've played under many good managers and great managers. I mean, there's maybe managers like Pep who might be rigid in their, their tactics, want you to do this. And then you might have an Ancelotti on the other side who just maybe allows his front three to do whatever. Which of those type of coaches did you, the guys who gave you freedom to express yourself, maybe you allowed to roam around, in the front three, switch positions? What was important for you?
I think the freedom. I think always in football, a team has a setup and a structure of how they want to play and how they want to keep possession or if they want to play direct football. But I always say within the structure, you need to have freedom to be yourself as a player, to make your own decisions. It's not always where if you plan to play 4-4-2 and you expect the opponents to play in a 4-5-1, that it's going to come out like that on the game. You get what I'm saying? They might also watch your games and they come up with a different tactic to stop the way you're playing. So you must be able to find solutions as a player. So that's where the freedom comes in, playing football-wise. And I think we had that at Sundowns. You'd find Khama on the wide, and you find me inside, and then you find Percy out wide, or you find him up top. So you never knew where we were playing because of the rotation we always had, So I think that also helped us a lot at Sundowns. It's the movement, even the way they play now. You won't tell me where Ribeiro plays, for instance, because they're always moving. Everyone is moving, and I think that helps a lot with a team structure. If you have the freedom within the structure to be free.
Making the move to Europe, and I know it's something that you spoke about a little bit earlier about the connection between Ajax Cape Town and Amsterdam, sort of falling through during those years, and then maybe you thought that it wasn't going to be something that was going to happen to play football in Europe. Montpellier comes calling. What is the decision from Keagan Dolly to say, I'm ready to go and play my football in a different country, in a different continent, and how can I maximize on this opportunity that has come knocking?
Yeah, I think with me, I just felt that Sundowns, this is after winning the league, winning the Champions League. I felt like, what more is there for me to do? You get what I'm saying? I always want to challenge myself from a young age. I never really stayed too long in one place because I don't want to get complacent. I don't want to just, start going through motions knowing that my job is secured, knowing that I'll play week in, week out if I just stay here. And since a young age, I always wanted to play in Europe. So when that opportunity came, I couldn't say no. There was no way I was going to stay in South Africa. But also, with all these tournaments that we played in, I played in the Olympics 2016 as well, with under 23s. And I think that helped a lot, because the first game we played was Brazil, in Brazil.
Rio 2016.
Yeah, they had Neymar, they had Martinelli, they had Gabriel Jesus. So they had a very good team. And luckily for us, we played to a 0-0 draw. And a lot of people watched that game. And I think that got me the opportunity to go to Europe, because before Montpellier came, what's this team from Greece? Olympiacos. Olympiacos wanted me, but they couldn't agree with Sundowns. The bad clause and this. So that was, then Montpellier came and they had the money. And I think with them, it was always my dream to go to Europe and play against the best. So when that opportunity came, I went to Sundowns. I went to Coach Pitso and I said, look, this is the opportunity of a lifetime. Not a lot of players get to go play in Europe. We have many great players that played in the PSL but didn't get the opportunity to go to Europe. And I told him, look, this is an opportunity for me to better my life, my family's life, and also to create opportunities. If I do well, I mean, they can come back to Sundowns and look for more players or the PSL. So I spoke to him. He asked for me to stay another season. I said, Coach, what if this opportunity don't come? And I'm 24. I don't want to go when I'm too old. You get what I'm saying? Exactly. And play 2 seasons and then you come back, because in Europe they really look after their talent. Because when I got there, I was 24 and I already felt like I was too old, because you play against Mbappe that's 17, 18 and he's killing it week in, week out. I think when I got there, Kamavinga was 16 and he started playing for Rennes.
For Rennes.
He was 16 and look where he is now. So that's why I say there in Europe, they really look after the talent and they push them. It's rare you'll see a player like Kamavinga or Mbappe playing in the DDC that side until he's 22 and then only making the transition to the first team. So when you're 16, 17 and you're good enough to play, you will play, And luckily for me, at the age of 24, I could go there and, spend 4.5 years in France. But that's what I saw. The development structures there is top. But also because everything is in one big facility and it's close by. So it's easy for a 12-year-old to go on that side to watch the first team train and say, one day I'm going to be here. Our side is
across the road.
Exactly. And it's like in reach, man. You know you can get there because you see these players every day. So for us, it's a bit difficult. You get the development is in this side of the town and the first team is training 45 minutes away. So it doesn't feel attainable. It doesn't feel reachable because you're like, you get what I'm saying? So, and in Europe, if the first team plays a certain formation, everyone plays the same. So it's easy for you to go from under 12 to under 14 because it's something similar. It's nothing new. It's not where you play 3-5-2 in the academy and in the first team they play 4-5-1 and now you have to adjust and everything. So everything's easy for you in Europe. It's attainable.
And I mean, those early years, I mean, you're coming from South Africa. Yes, you're playing one of the best sides in the country. What's that step like? Where that first year, those first sessions,
Difficult.
What's the feeling that one is getting?
Difficult.
Culture shock.
No
At least France is
English.
not.
No one speaks
No one speaks English.
The French are.
it's French and French only.
Yeah.
And I think the first 3 months when I got there, I used to go to the dressing room, sit on my phone, go to training. Sometimes the coach tell you, you watch, then you first have to watch what they're doing, the drill of the day, the passing drills, the movements. You wait outside for a bit, then you join later. So it was very difficult because you're now by yourself. You come from winning the Champions League, being one of the most spoken about players, you know, being a kind of big name player in South Africa, to being nobody. Sure. Now you have to adjust again and try to build a name for yourself again. So it was a little difficult to adjust, but I think once I started, you know, picking up the language, being able to communicate. Ça va et toi?
That is his favorite line, by the way. Every time he has to go to French, that's what he throws.
Yeah, but it's very complicated when you move to countries where they hardly speak English. Yeah. You know, like even just going to shops or going to a restaurant, you have to use Google Translate. But I think it taught me a lot. It made me stronger mentally. Yeah. And I think it made me a better player overall, because football is quite different. It's very physical, very direct, and it's very fast. You start the ball here, you need to go there in 5-6 seconds to get the goal, because they play for results. And you just pick up different things that make you a better player and a better individual, you know.
Yeah, I mean, you come from, Ajax, pretty much probably European foundations being instilled in you. How much of your personal game that needed to adjust to, or were there similarities to what you were seeing within your club?
I think it's just the decision making. Okay. You don't have a lot of time. Yeah. On TV, it might look like they're walking and playing, but playing, it's very quick. It's very quick. So you that split second to decide if you're going to pass it here or if you're going to hold the ball. Yeah. And also, I needed to learn on getting into the box more, especially as an attacking midfielder, because they very big on stats. Okay. As an attacking midfielder, how many assists did you have? How many goals did you create? How many shots on target, you know, and forward passes. So in Europe, they're very big on stats. So those are the things I've learned to change. And now I feel like I'm more matured as well. I'm more direct in my game. I want to at least create opportunities for my strikers, you know, especially as a number 10. So that going there helped me a lot, you know. I think when I was still at Sundowns, that's what I was lacking, you know, that ambition to score goals and create goals. So that really helped me in Europe.
And then, I mean, that, 4.5 years at Montpellier. When did you decide then this is time to call it, come back home, South Africa? There are teams calling, there are people wanting you back home in South Africa. They want the old Keagan Dolly.
So I think it was also during COVID times, and my contract was coming to an end in Montpellier, and my firstborn was born just towards the end of my contract. And I sat down with my wife and we made a decision that she also needs to be close to family. And I think that's one thing that played an important role for us coming back, because it's easy when it's just you and your wife to move around city to city, you know.
Now there's an extra package.
Exactly. And she was about a month old before my contract ended in France, and it was off season anyway, so we just decided, look, we'll find something in South Africa. And that's when I started speaking to Bobby and Kaizer Chiefs, and we knew that Kaizer Chiefs is also a big club, and we knew that it will look after us, and we'll be in a good space, you know, as a family. And I think that's when we decided to move back to South Africa.
I'm fascinated by that because, I mean, now you're coming back. I mean, was there any thought maybe I could go back to Sundowns, or just looking for a completely different challenge, or you thought maybe what they had at the time, Chiefs might maybe be a better fit for you?
I think I think we spoke to a lot of clubs before, just taking Chiefs up. But I think with what Bobby spoke to me about, and obviously me seeing where the club comes from in the past 10 years, me trying to come and help the club to at least win a trophy again. That also motivated me, try to change things. And again, Castro was there, Khama was there. I played with Lebu Manyama at Ajax. There were a lot of players that I played with in the past at Chiefs. Coach Stuart Baxter was there, that I worked with at Bafana. So it made sense for me.
All the right ingredients.
Exactly, it made sense at the time to go to Chiefs. And obviously it was a team that I grew up supporting as well. And
don't throw away from Westbury.
Exactly. And yeah, it just made sense at the time to join Chiefs.
Yeah. That comes with expectation, obviously.
Yeah.
You leave as a Champions League winning player. You go to Europe. There's a lot of, I guess you've got skin in the game now.
Yeah.
You're a different Keagan Dolly to when
I started.
Yeah, to when you started, and then achieving all of these things, and now coming back. How did you handle that kind of expectation to immediately hit the ground running, make a change at Chiefs? As you say, the fortunes of the club at that stage obviously weren't as impressive. Did you have to make sure that you have to tap into a different kind of mindset to be able to handle the expectation that came with a big name signing like Keagan Dolly at Kaizer Chiefs?
Yeah, I think also with playing in France, there were times where, I wasn't a part of the team, or I'm injured for quite a few months.
Yeah.
So that also teaches you on how to be mentally strong and how to deal with certain situations.
Yeah.
So I think when I got to Chiefs, I was already prepared for whatever comes my way. And I wasn't a youngster anymore. I was going for 29. And so I knew the challenges going to Chiefs, but it was also a new environment. I was excited to be at the club and bring something new to the club. And I think for the first 8 months, I was doing very well. I was scoring goals. I was feeling like myself again, But then again, I think when the whole club is not doing well, you tend to also fade away, because the whole club is exactly, and you tend to fall into that same trap where you also start questioning if you're doing enough, and you end up trying to overdo things. And I think that happened at Chiefs, and also then started picking up a lot of injuries, because you want to overplay your role sometimes. You want to do everyone's job, and mentally it's a lot. And I think that's when the injuries crept in, and just trying to come back from injuries and going back to that first 6 months when you joined the club, it's a bit difficult, because now you're chasing something instead of just keeping it simple, be calm, and just try to work your way back. And it was just injury after injury. I think the biggest one was my MCL in the second season at Chiefs, and just from that trying to come back, and it was a bit difficult. And the club also is trying to figure things out of getting in new coaches, getting in new players every season, so it's always change that you have to adapt to. So but they're doing well. They're in a cup final now, so hopefully they can turn things around for the club, and continue with the players they have and the coach, and just have at least a solid 2-3 seasons to see how these players and the technical team can do.
Sorry, now, so just sort of following up on that injury part. You probably went from a period where you never picked up a lot of injuries, and then they sort of came almost at once in a period where you're dealing with a lot of change as well. Like from Europe, and then having to settle back down here in South Africa. How were you able to get past those injuries and stay sort of motivated to say that I'm still young enough, fresh enough, fit enough to make comebacks and still contribute in positive ways after all these injuries and setbacks?
I think, again, it starts in Europe. I think from when I made my debut at 19 to leaving Sundowns at 24, I had no injuries at all, at all. And I got to France, played the first season, fine. And I think the 2017-2018 season, I think our first home game, we played Strasbourg, which Lebo Mutiba played for.
Yes.
You know, you're excited, you're playing against your fellow South African. First 2 minutes in the game, I got kicked, I fractured my fibula. And that took me out for like 3, 4, 5 months at most. And then trying to come back from that. And also traveling back for Bafana all the time. So all the traveling and trying to get game time at Montpellier. And again, I think the injury started there because then you pick up a small niggle, a groin injury here because you rush to come back, you pull a hamstring and you're out for 2 weeks. So I think it started there with all the injuries, you know. And then leaving France, you get to, you know, take your time and recover and look after yourself mentally. You learn how to deal with all these injuries and you because they're very professional in France. They look after you and you pick up all these things. So coming back to Chiefs, I already went through all these, you know, injuries, setbacks and injury problems in Montpellier. So it was easier for me to deal with it here at Chiefs, you know. But I think with the MCL, you always think, am I going to be the same? Am I going to be? But I think with the support I always have, you know, my wife, my mom, my dad, they're always there to push me and, you know, constantly remind me that it's not about me anymore. There's kids involved now. So you have to be a role model and push for them. So that keeps me going now. And just the love for the game. And I still feel like I haven't done enough. Because I played in the PSL, 4 or 5 seasons before I went to Europe. And I always say I still want to prove that I'm still good enough to play in the PSL. And it's for me personally, you know, because I feel at Chiefs I didn't do enough. So now at TS Galaxy, I'm just trying to find that passion and the enjoyment and just to go out and score goals and enjoy the game, and I think it's happening now.
I mean, what you kind of started on it. I mean, already. I mean, what's so important for you? Because I mean, you achieved quite a lot in that first 24 years of your life. You won everything with Sundowns. What's important to you? I mean, like I said, there's guys that have paved the way for you to see the likes of yourself coming through, and now you that senior player part. I mean, is there a part of you now where you feel, I mean, there's youngsters that are looking up to me, that's important, I've won the trophies, yes, I want to enjoy my football, but it's also helping the next generation of players?
I think that's most important now for me. There's a lot of good youngsters at TS Galaxy, so for me it's just to play that role, to try and guide them and show them that it's possible with hard work and sacrifice, you know, and just try to talk to them and share my experiences, you know, and tell them that PSL is not the end. There's a lot of other things that you can experience in the world and, you know, get to see and live. So that's just the role I'm trying to play now, is just be that senior player figure that other players did for me, you know, the likes of Surprise Muriri when I joined Sundowns, you know, he was always there to encourage me and help me. So I'm trying to do that. But most importantly, I'm trying to prove it on the field as well. You know, be committed every day at training. When I get the opportunity to play, you know, give my all for the club, for the team, to show them that it's the hard work and not just you scoring one goal and thinking you're in the limelight. But you need to sacrifice for the club.
Keagan Dolly, the player, 19 to 24, and the player that he is now in his 30s. How different are those two players?
I think the Keagan of Ajax and Sundowns, it was more of the flair and, you know, trying to be a little fancy and, you know, show that you got the skill And yeah, I think the player now is more matured, is playing to win, more importantly. I think the player back then was a lot of energy and, you know, adrenaline that's pumping and that keeps you going. Now it's all about calmness and, you know, just precision on what I do on the field and how I carry myself on the field. And yeah, it's more calm now on knowing what I want to achieve still, and not chasing the highs. Now it's just about living in the moment and enjoying what's happening around me.
And I mean, at that period where, I mean, you've competed for trophies, you've played in a big club where there's always expectations for more, and maybe you're chasing it, it's not coming. And now, whereas now, maybe in a different club, we're not always there. How's that competitive side of yours still going? Considering that it might not necessarily always result to a trophy, but still important, like I said, some of the job that you're doing, keeping the club where it is and helping some of the young players to come through.
Yeah, it's just trying to touch lives wherever you are and inspire, you know. I mean, you always have to change the environment that you are. Don't leave it the same, you know. So that's what I want to do, especially at TS Galaxy. It's not a very big club, but I mean, they're doing well. They're competing, and for me, it's just to keep that going and help the club achieve better than they did in the past, and that keeps me going. And again, just try to leave the club in a better place when I do retire, you know. And yeah, that keeps me motivated. Try to still compete with the youngsters. Try to, you know, show them, keep up. Because I was always the youngster in every team I played for, and sometimes I forget. But I'm still the same. If you ask my teammates, I'm the one making jokes. I'm the one. So I treat everyone the same. I chill mostly with the youngsters everywhere where I go, because I still want to keep myself young. I still feel I have the energy to keep up with them, and just try to help them realize that it's possible.
Those couple of months off after leaving Kaizer Chiefs and now going to TS Galaxy, how important did you think that you needed that break to come out from a situation where it was probably difficult to attain in terms of your body also at that time was struggling a little bit with injuries, and then obviously your contract running out, and then not finding a club after that? Did you need those months where you probably had to reflect, reassess before jumping into a different project now with TS Galaxy?
Yeah, I think those few months was very important.
Were they tough also?
Very tough. I was just about to say. It went on for too long. Because it's okay if it's 3-4 months, but when it goes into almost a year, because I think it was 8-9 months where I didn't have a club, you know. So I think the first 3-4 months it was nice and refreshing to wake up every morning knowing that you spend the whole day with your family, and you can do other things besides football, and you can be Keagan the father, the son, the brother, you know, not Keagan the footballer all the time. So it was good in the beginning, you know. I started playing paddle, which was good. You know, I started enjoying new things. You know, I started, you know, feeling normal again, you know. But then it went on for too long, and you start seeing the league started. Your friends are playing, they are on pre-season, and you at home. They want to visit you, but you don't know what you're going to talk to them about, you know. So it started getting annoying, because now you also need to find something to do. Because also you're getting tired of being home. You're being a nag at home now. The wife is tired of you of being 24 hours at home. She also wants a space, and the kids is also tired of seeing you every day. So yeah, it got too much. I think it was too long. But we also needed to find the right place to go to. You know, I was at Supersport for a month, but things didn't work out. if something's meant to be, it will happen. And I don't think Supersport was the right place for me. When I spoke to Tim Sukazi, and he explained to me what they expect. And also, I think the first day when I got there, the previous coach was leaving. So it was starting afresh. Yeah, it was starting afresh with our coach Ednan. So everyone was starting anew. You know, he was also trying to find solutions on how to change the season going forward. Because I mean, we were 16th with 2 points. So it was challenging as well, but it was something new that everyone needed to, you know, find a common goal where we work together. And I mean, they welcomed me very well. And yeah, I'm happy at TS.
This is another part of football. We don't tend to talk about the teams that are there fighting the relegation. And I mean, what outside of just the tactical side that needs to be in place for guys to still say, you know what, we can get our team out of, I mean, because it's your livelihood, that's your club status, so much that's involved in this situation. And yet there's a lot of chop and changes with coaches because everyone's looking for that quick fix. What is it just beyond tactics that players and including management and staff that needs to do to bring everyone together and have this common goal? Because it's easy to have a trophy that you're chasing, whereas now this thing is just about surviving.
Surviving. Because you don't know if you're going down with a team or you're staying up or where you're going to find another team. You don't know if they're going to cut your salary or so it's a lot of stuff that you start thinking about. I also feel like besides tactics, the team needs to be together and they need to have one common thing that they're working towards. Because when you find yourself in a place like that fighting for relegation, you find people pulling different directions. You get what I'm saying? And that's where small issues start becoming big. Like, this one came late. Whereby if we were number one, we were just going to, you get what I'm saying? So we start looking at the small things and we want to blow it out big. And I feel like once you find yourself in that position, you need to be together. You know, don't start pointing fingers at this one doing this one is doing that wrong, or you're looking for excuses and problems within to why we're losing or why we're starting to play bad, you know. But I've been there in the past with Ajax Cape Town, and you know, I think one thing that really helps everyone is when the team comes, because that's when you really need everyone in the club, from management to the bosses to the technical team and all the players. That's when we all need to be together.
And whose responsibility was that? I mean, there are some clubs, maybe it's player driven, where the senior players are so involved in ensuring that you keep the team together, or was that also been driven by management to maybe speak to the senior players to ensure that that culture was going, even though the situation might be dire?
Yeah, I think it comes from, you know, the management, who then to the senior players, and then they try to keep the youngsters in check, you know. But I think it's the whole club that needs to be together, not just players, because then the players will find issues with what the management is doing, or vice versa. You get what I'm saying? So I always believe like it must be everyone together and not just the senior players trying to fix everything. Everyone needs to have a buy-in, because for me at that stage there's no time for low senior player, low youngster. We all need to work together. We all need to work together and put in effort. And I think that helped us at Ajax as well.
Fourth on the log now, there's I mean there's possibility of playing in CAF. In CAF Champions, in CAF competitions. How much does that excite you again to go back to, you know, environments that you knew so well at your time at Mamelodi Sundowns?
Can I just add quickly, especially like, with Pirates now, Sundowns,
Stellenbosch as well, doing
South
well.
African team seems to be
doing very well. Yeah, back in the day it was always the North Africans who dominates the Champions League and Confed Cup. But now you can see that we're really doing well, you know. Not only us in these CAF competitions, but I mean, if you look at Bafana, what they're doing as well.
Yeah.
So you could see now that we're starting to really take our development serious. We're really developing proper players that can compete with the big nations in Africa. But yeah, going back with us at TS, you know, again, coming from where we started to finding ourselves now fourth, you know, it's an opportunity for us to even set our targets higher.
Yeah.
You know, first we just wanted to make the top 8.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Just to get up there. Yeah. But now that we're fourth, we just want to, you know, try to maintain the past few months and keep consistency and win every game we play, no matter who we play against. If it's Sundowns, if it's Makezi, we still want to stay consistent and win every game we play. We have 4 games left, so we take it each game as it comes, and you know, just try to win these 4 remaining games and not worry about what the other teams are. Exactly. We just want to end the season off on a high, and we'll take it from there. But the possibilities of playing in CAF is huge. I told the boys that this is where you get recognized, because a lot of the scouts from Europe watch these
Continental games,
competitions, and this is opportunities for us to make a name for ourselves as well, and you know, see how far we can go in these type of competitions and compete with the best, you know. And this is also where you start getting sponsors to the club, and you know, everything changes for the club. So that's what we want to do.
Just on that answer, I mean, they probably look at you, some of the younger players at TS Galaxy look at you now and say, Keagan Dolly is talking to us about the possibility of playing in Africa. Does that excite you? There's like, okay, this is what I came here to do, to be able to give this kind of positive impact to the younger generation, where if I wasn't here and I was at a different club where I was probably playing with guys that had already tasted continental competitions, it wouldn't have had the same impact possibly. Does that still excite you to say that this is the right environment for me to be able to make a positive and lasting impact?
Yeah, it does. It still gives me that extra bit of motivation to wake up in the morning, to go to training, when you see that the boys are listening and they're putting in the effort every day at training, when they actually listen to what you're trying to tell them, you know, not just... Because sometimes I was also a youngster when, you know, when senior players come to you and then you're like,
what is
it goes in here, it goes out, and you know. But to see them actually take it in and apply it every day at training and actually wanting to push for a CAF spot, it just gives you that extra motivation to wake up in the morning and go to training to work as well. Not just to go and be like, abang Mamelodi lab. So yeah, it gives it excites you. It gives you that extra push to go and, you know, do it again the next day.
In terms of now, I mean, I hate to say this, but like your next part, I mean, there's players that I mean, Dan said here there was an accounting part of him he wanted to be. What is Keagan's next part? Is it staying in football?
I think I want to stay in football. I think I want to give back to what football has done for me in my life. You know, it changed my life. So I want to give back, if it's coaching or in any other way that I can. You know, but I want to stay in football. Hopefully closer to when I feel like it's time to retire. I still feel like I have a few more seasons in me, but when I do feel like the body can't anymore, I'll start probably proper looking into it, because I want to give my all to the game still. I don't want to have other things that I need to do. On this day I can't go to training because I have to go do a course to the side. So I first want to give my all until I feel like, okay, it's getting closer to the time. But also TS Galaxy is a club where they look after these type of players that's going into the later stages of their career, you know. I think Lindo Mbata as well is close to, he'll probably also stay on So it's the right place to do, you know, if you want to stay in football, to be at. So I think I'll start doing my coaching badges
When you
closer
feel
to
Is there something about the School of Excellence that most of the players that have been there? I mean, it seems
Probably.
like, because it seems that all you
Probably.
want to stay in football. I mean, it's not. There's another side where you could be in Randbeck in front of talking about the game, but most of them are not choosing that. You're choosing to still be involved in the game.
I think it's also because of the setup at the school. Because the school, man. When you get there to the school and you try to focus on the school part of it, because in the morning you go to class and then at 2 it's training, 2:30 to like 5:30 it's training. And sometimes when you get to the school and you want to focus on the school side, so you tend to like take football really serious, and when it comes to the schooling you don't really take it serious because no one's really looking at you if you're studying or if you're doing your homework, because there's no cool mom, there's no you're not a cool person. You want to be a part of a machita that's here for football, you know. So sometimes that's why most of players from the school tend to stay longer even after their careers. They wanna coach, they wanna start their own academies, they wanna give back because of where we come from the school.
Final one for me, and I think it's related to what you just said now. Would there be a possibility where Keagan Dolly goes back to Westbury and tries to probably open up an academy there and help new young talent come through from Westbury and be that positive change that you've been speaking about throughout this interview?
I didn't think that far yet.
You see, there's an idea. There's an idea.
The thing is, I don't want to be there, like in charge of a whole academy. I want to be there with the players. So probably not academy.
Yeah.
If it's academy, it will probably be something small of 2 to 3 teams where you focus on 3 divisions, maybe under 12, 15 and 17.
Yes.
That's what I do, because that's the most important time in a player's career. So but for now, not really. Also, you need to find the right people to work with. So and one day when I find the proper facilities and the right people that will help, change the lives of the kids in Westbury, I'll think about it. But for now, probably just the coach. Even if I have to go back to coach La Masia, which is a team from Westbury that's playing in the Kaizer League. So I'll go back there as well and just try to help the players like face to face, not just mhlale officine and then abangboni. So I want to be there to involved.
To end off, probably 3 of the best players that you played. I know a CBD probably.
Castro and Khama.
3 of you played with, and also coaches that have influenced you to the person that you are today.
3 of the best. It's a difficult one because I played with a lot of players that I rate really high. From Bafana to all the clubs that I played for. I played with Tulani Serero, Kamo Mukocho. I played with Tino Ndlovu, Percy Tau. So it's hard to just narrow it down to 3 players. But for me, Themba Shishi Zwane is one of the most underrated players. I think before this past few seasons now, where we really started appreciating what he's done for South African football. I'd go, some of them are still my friends. I played with Bongani Zungu, which is, as well is a big talent and a close friend of mine. There's the likes of Teko Modise I played with. Hey, it's difficult, man.
This is not to me, they know it's just that for you they stand out.
For me, that stand out. Okay, so I'll say Themba Zwane, I'd say Tulani Serrero, and I'd say Percy Tau. Yeah, I'd say them. Yeah.
That's excluding the CBD.
Mind you, I grew up with Percy at the academy. I met him when I was 16. Yeah. He started playing Castle. I was playing Vodacom. And then the following season we played together until he went out on loan to Fitbank Spurs. And I went to Cape Town. But then we met again when we both were at the first team. Yeah. So we're also close friend of mine.
Coaches that have impacted you the most, and maybe anything that stands out from whatever that they imparted on you.
I think all of the coaches that I worked with from the School of Excellence. I mean, from Westbury Arsenal. My dad used to coach me. Funny enough, he used to be my first coach, and he was always hard on me because he was my dad. So even if I scored like 5 goals for the under-10s,
not impressed.
And not. You're losing the ball like it's a hot potato. You're chopping like a ballerina. So from him, he was always hard on me, and that's where I learned to be tough. Went to the School of Excellence, got coached by Coach James Mabena. He passed away last year. He also very tough on me. He never used to let me rest. And I think that like channeled the inner beast of, not settling for less. Yeah. After Coach James, then I got coached by Ted Dumitri. Oh. At Sundowns Academy with Coach Dance Malisela, which was also another eye-opener because same, I think Coach Ted was also, he could see the potential, so he was always just fighting with me. But he wanted, not happy. He wanted the best because he worked with the likes of Jabu Pule at Chiefs, so he knew talent, so he was hard on me. Then I moved to Cape Town, got coached by Martin Stecklenburg. Obviously need to mention him because he gave me my first taste of professional football. I think he left. Coach Mushin came. And that was another.
How interesting was that time?
Ooh, very interesting. But again, with him, he's a winner. Yeah. So with me, he used to pull my ears at training. Really? I'm playing in the PSL. Hey? Come. Kick. And again, I learned on how to deal with those type of people, those type of coaches, They made me stronger. And because with Coach Mushin, he'd look at me and say, go to the dressing room, just for fun. But he wanted me to be strong. Come weekend, I start the game, get man of the match. Next week, come again, you my headache, go back. So he made me like tough. Yeah. And which I learned to appreciate only afterwards, looking back at it. That if it wasn't for that toughness, I'd probably be just a stay. I wouldn't be, And after Mushin, Coach Roger Desar came, and that's where I found freedom. Okay. I could play my game. Yeah. Left Ajax, and then I learned how to win under Coach Pitso. Yeah. That's when I learned how to invest in myself, invest in my game, to analyze my game, not sleep because you're worried about training tomorrow. Try to figure out solutions in your head, where you become a coach yourself now. So I learned that from him. Left Sundowns, went to France, played under the same coach for 4.5 years, and he's typical European, strict. He wants you his way or the highway, But I grew up under Coach Mushin and Coach James and my dad from a young age, so I knew how to deal with that. And then coming back to Chiefs was Coach Stewart, Coach Arthur, Coach Mulifi Ntsiki, Coach Kevin Johnson, a lot of coaches, a lot of coaches. Yeah, so it was always just trying to adapt to what they want and, giving my all you know, fit into the style of play. But I think growing up and, you know, chopping and changing academies and going through different coaches helped me to adjust and, you know, deal with all the coaches. And now I have Adnan, who's, yeah, he's a very good coach. He gives me the freedom as well. So, yeah, it's things that I've learned in the past to deal with and just adjust to the coaches.
Keagan Dolly's ultimate five-a-side team.
Ooh, do I put myself in?
You can if you want to.
Okay.
Goalkeeper.
Dennis Onyango.
Okay.
Two defenders.
You need two defenders, yeah.
Two defenders. I'll go for Langerman.
Tebogo.
Yeah. And I'll go for Rivaldo Kutsia.
Ooh, okay.
Um,
Need one midfielder and one central player.
One midfielder and striker.
Yeah.
Midfielder, I'll put Themba Zwane, and up front I put Khama Billiat.
Shishi, Khama Billiat.
Yeah.
There's no Keagan Dolly yet.
I'll be the coach.
He's a coach.
I'll be the coach. Super sub.
All right. Keagan, thank you so much for your time, and we really appreciate it. I mean, this for us is amazing because we try on this platform to really celebrate people that have done incredibly well in their different sporting codes. We speak to so many people, different kinds of people, different kind of sporting codes, what makes them tick, what doesn't.
Yeah.
And I think this has made us, you know, see into a different world that we probably would never have if you weren't here and speaking to us about your experiences, going to Europe and growing up and doing things that have impacted your life, but also your family's life. And I think that's so important. So thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. I had fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Nance, you good?
I'm all good.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, guys. Again, please subscribe, like, comment on all these videos. Who would you like to see sitting next to us here in this middle row, red couch? And of course, we'll see you on the next episode of the Roll Rounders podcast.